Welcome everyone back to the Crimson 15 podcast. I'm your host, Crimson Sen.
And 15 PCA.
810-454.
Be sure to check us out over on Twitter at C15 Podcast. Join the discussion over on Discord, link in the description below. And if you're enjoying the videos, be sure to sub, like, share, and hit that bell for notifications. Back to the Amphibia reviews, the sleepover to end all sleepovers. And I just have to say this about this show. Probably better than most shows on Disney anyways, where they'll have a goofy episode with a goofy premise. But within the episode, they have greater lore implications, like actual plot points are going to be into the story. Because in this one, there's a lot of stuff going on where we don't get any answers, and a lot of mystery and a lot of what the heck was that? And why is this thing even existing? And how it's just all this stuff comes out of just this weird basement. And there's these creatures that look like ghosts, but they're not ghosts. It mirrors. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's no explanations, and I like that because it lets you wonder and think what's going to happen next. They did this with that robot thing. There was a robot that was chasing the family from on their way to Newtopia. We haven't seen that robot again yet. So I'm hoping the robot comes back. I would hate for them to plant seeds and then the seeds never reap any fruit. But I know they're going to. It has to, because there's no way they would put that much emphasis on it. Just like the creatures you see in this episode, something has to come from this. So the episode starts up, and they're going to be having a sleepover, the title of the episode, with Marcy. And this is going to be their last night because they're going to meet with the king, and the king has all this information about the music box. So they're going to have a whole lot of fun. Let's have a ton of fun before all this is over with. So they're going to go and they're just being silly and having a fun time. But I guess Sasha's the one who always ran all the sleepovers. So they're kind of worried we're going to be able to run a sleepover as well as she does. And since Sprig and Polly have never been in a sleepover, they want it to be an amazing sleepover. A really good memory for them. So they're like, we can do this. We were there for all those sleepovers too, so we can make this a fun day. So they're going around doing all kinds of fun stuff, sliding down the stairs, playing pranks, eating lots of food. Oh, you can never fall asleep. You got to stay up as long as you can. I like how this lady, the castle, she's the one. She was the ones that were saying, hey guys, have fun at your little party thing, but remember you have your meeting in the morning. So they're always screwing with her, and she just beats the crap out of them, which I think is awesome. That is just okay to hit kids, especially when they're being like this. She's like, you guys need to calm the hell down. It's causing all this trouble. But too bad. And they keep going around doing more stuff. They're painting on the paintings. They're made a big old cake, and they're like, oh man, this is such a great sleepover. Okay, what do we do next? It's only 9 p.m. because they'd stay up all night. Hey, they do this scary challenge thing. You make a challenge, you got to go do it. And if you don't do it, you get your name in the book of losers. And I'm thinking to myself, when I first saw this, I'm like, whose names are in there? Because if they've only ever had sleepovers with the three of them, obviously, so it's not that big of a deal, because if it's going to be one of the three friends and they're still friends, so who cares? I know it's a stupid kid thing, oh no, you don't want to be a loser, but I was wondering if maybe they had other friends, but they don't. They just have there's the three friends. So they're going to come up with some scary thing to do, and then this is just a weird thing. It's odd. There's a lot of little things that happen in this episode where it's that's an odd little detail. What does that add to the story? Like I said in the beginning of the review, there is no answers in this episode. They did say there's places that are off limits, and the basement's off limits. And then Anne's like, hey, let's go to the basement, because there's a map of the castle and the basement's been ripped off. Anne cuts her finger. She's like, oh, paper cut. She cut herself. So I'm thinking, for this to have cut her finger, it had to have been freshly cut. The map must have been torn or cut recently. Because if it was an old map that was torn up, the edges would be dull. It wouldn't have been able to give her a paper cut. So is that the implication here, that this was done recently? The hide the basement? But this is Marcy's room. So did Marcy do this? Or it's weird. See, my mind is spinning in circles of trying to figure out exactly what the meaning of this whole paper cut thing is. Because why put it in the story? If it wasn't necessary, because she could have went up to the map and said, hey, let's go to the basement, and then they go to the basement. She runs her finger out, hey, she points at the map and it cuts her finger. So was that just like a warning? Like, don't do this because impending danger, like you hurt yourself? Or is it the bigger implication is that this is like a setup? I don't know. My mind's going all over the place. So they decide, no, we're going to go down to the basement because that's the scary challenge. They're walking down there. They see all the scary stuff. And of course, they're all like, oh, I bet you guys really want to go back now. The thing is, they're all scared. They're all scared out of their minds because it's a pretty this whole scenario is really, really creepy. They get to a door that has like this scary writing on it. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is screaming, get the heck out of here. But it just says keep out, like in Nutopian language. Is this a real thing? Is this a like a cipher? Like people have figured out this language? Like did they take the time to actually make like an alphabet or whatever? I hope so. I think that kind of stuff is really cool, especially when it's never like shown in the show. It's like there for the fans to kind of figure out. I like that kind of stuff. They break in because, that's always a great idea. Break into places that say keep out with creepy writing. It's like a crypt. There's coffins floating around and like in sludge and like water. First of all, I can only imagine how bad this place smells. Like it would probably knock you out how bad this stink is. They're like, hey, Mark's like, we gotta go. This is not feeling good. This doesn't feel right. We need to get out of here. But then Sprig and Polly are like, ha ha ha, if you guys are scared, you're gonna be in the book of losers. And there was like a whole hallway of mirrors leading up to this place. And that's just creepy. Like have you ever seen the movie Oculus? That is a very underrated horror film. Very good. Check it out. But they're like, okay, go take a selfie with that coffin over there. And then we'll make it a deal and you're not losers. So they go over there and they're like, oh, there's a desecration. They take the selfie and they're like, hey, this selfie looks a little weird. Then like this goopy monster jellyfish ghost thing comes out. And like, they're all freaking out. And apparently they're eating people because there's one that has like a skeleton of like a frog or an amphibian in it. And it dissolves the bone. So like a jellyfish, they'll pull you in, they eat you. But these things are all different kinds of like bug monsters, and they're very they kind of remind me of Metroid, like a Metroid. And they're running away from these things, and they find another way out, which I thought was kind of crazy because they're like, oh, there's another exit. And I'm like, how the heck do they know that's another exit? They go down this hallway. It looks different, but it's similar. It has all the mirrors, but it's not as catacomby looking. I don't know, that's a new word I made up. It's a place that's like a catacomb. They see all these mirrors. These things see the mirrors and then they go through the ground because they can like pass through the floor and everything. So the mirrors are like a deterrent to these things. These phantasms. I don't know what they are. But the door leads back to Marcy's room, and Marcy's like, "What the heck?" And then Anne's like, "Oh, don't even whatever. We're out of there. That's what matters." Does Marcy know? Did Marcy know these things are down there? But she did seem so surprised, but she's also, and when I first met this character in the show, I felt that Marcy will become a character because she's big into D&D. She's big into like role playing and all that. So is she playing a character here? Does she know more than she's letting on? Is she lies of omission? Because she's been in this kingdom a lot longer than all of them. So I'm sure Marcy would have found a trapdoor in her room. I'm pretty sure she would have known that because she's very curious. She's looking around. Is she pretending? Or was she tricked too? I don't know what to think. I don't know. I know everyone knows because everyone's seen the whole series and I haven't. So don't spoil me. I'd like my mind to, when I watch shows, I love to think about them. So these creatures start coming up to the floorboards and they're throwing things at him. It's passing right through. So they're like ghosts. But then Sprig's scared. He just picks up whatever is handy and he has a mirror. The mirror shines on them and then they become physical. Then they can hurt them. It's like, oh, the answer is mirrors. And why does Marcy have 10,000 mirrors in her room? See, that goes to show you, I know she knows something more because why would she have this many mirrors? Why? Why would she have these unless she knew exactly what these things were? There's also a bunch of plants that were growing down there. And there was a person down there, but it was hiding as like a plant. So they use all the mirrors. They beat the monsters down. They go back underground. Like, oh, I'm not going to be able to sleep after that. So they end up staying up all night anyways. Then they have their meeting with the king. And that's their next episode. They're going to go meet with the king, learn about the box. So an excellent episode filled with tons of gags and silly things with big lore implications. I'm hoping so. I'm hoping a lot of this stuff actually plays out into something, that a lot of this stuff isn't just fluff for the episode to be the scary episode, but is actually part of the ongoing story. I want these kinds of things to mean something in the end. These creatures better have some type of there's some lore there going on. Are they evil? Are they benevolent? Are they just animals? And animals aren't evil or good. They're just animals. So I don't know. I really liked it. I love the catacombs. I love the scary atmosphere. The mirror's super creepy. Another great, fun, not the funniest episode, but I'd rather take some, because there's plenty of funny episodes. I want the lore episodes, the background episodes, the world building episodes. And this is one of those ones. I thought it was really cool. Crimson Sin here. Thanks for watching the video. Remember, liking, subscribing, sharing, and commenting on the video really helps out a lot. It gets the video spread around more people get to see the videos, and we get to make more videos for you guys. So thank you, and we appreciate every single one of you guys.